it's hard for me to reconcile all this stuff because I think I feel this amazing connection with people, and then the next day sometimes I'm invisible to these people, and I'm like, wait, was I the only one feeling this?
All right, we are back with another episode of Left Foot, Right Foot, and today we're going to talk about a more serious topic, and it has to do with connection, and more specifically, the idea of loneliness. A lot of people don't talk about it, but even in just your everyday lives, there is this sense of loneliness, even when you're with people, even when you're with family, even when you're with friends. In this life, we rarely talk about it. You're really in this world by yourself. Of course, like we said, you have parents, you have siblings, you have coworkers, colleagues, friends, neighbors. But at the end of the day, you're a lot of times alone with your thoughts, alone and what do I do in this world, alone in, how do I connect with other people? Do people really know who I am? And it's a question that not a lot of people talk about openly, but I'm pretty sure a lot of us think about it. And even for someone like myself, who I feel like I have to be active a lot and around people, even though I don't consider myself an extrovert, I will say that even when I am with a lot of people, sometimes there is a sense of loneliness there. Like you enter a room and there's hundreds of people, but somehow it feels like you're just there by yourself. And if you've ever had that feeling, you're not alone, because many of you probably feel the same way I have. And in a dance that is so close and so intimate with other people, you would think that we have all this connection with others. But sometimes at the end of the day, you sit back and realize, well, do I? Am I really connected with certain people? Do I connect with these people that I hang out with or associate myself with? And it is a haunting one to comprehend and a very almost morbid one to think about. But we wanted to go a little bit more into detail about this idea of connection and loneliness. And yeah, I'll go to Rob and think about, what do how do you really feel about like the connection with yourself and the dance and discovering who you are in that kind of sense?
This is a really tough topic for me, mainly because I'm very much a hardcore extrovert, and I have to ask myself, why am I extroverted? And it's some people might say, oh, well, I was born this way, and yeah, I was born this way. But one of the reasons why I'm talkative, or uh, why I have this need to go out and be around people and have interactions with people, even if they're meaningless, even if it's just small talk. And the sad part is I've danced around people for 10, 15 years, and I don't know a thing about them. I know their name, I know how they dance, I know a few things like I know a few orchestras they like, but beyond that, I don't know much about them. And I always find it funny in a dance like tango, where we always talk about, oh, it's a dance of connection, we connect to the community, we do all these things, but honestly, besides like you and a few other people, like a handful of people, you know, don't know. I really don't know people all that well. It's just very surface level.
But is connecting with people simply just trivia and facts?
You, it should be more. Um, it definitely should be more. But what I want to get to is, um, I want to speak to extrovertedness at this point, because you're more of the introvert than I am, and especially with extroverts, or at least in my case, I feel that a lot of this need for trivia and this need for small talk is to avoid things within ourselves. Um, if you asked a lot of extroverts what their biggest fear is, and it's one of my biggest fears, it's the quiet.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
What do you
It's
mean?
like it's because when things are quiet, and like there's nothing around, and all you have is your own thoughts, and you have to deal with it. And I think extroverts are afraid of being alone. You know,
I think that's everybody. It's
yeah,
not just extroverts.
it is, but I think that's why we fill up the gap with all this trivial talk. You know, what's your favorite color? What do you like to go? You know, and we just want to talk. It's not like we even remember these things half the time. You know, and I think because when things are quiet, we have to deal with our own problems. It's what's wrong with our life. Why aren't we like? What can we do to? Not everyone's willing to sit down, look in the mirror, and go, "What can I do to make myself better?" And I'm going to fill it up with all this trivial stuff with other people. And in a sense, I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of people gravitate towards like the community drama. Like they want to just dogpile on it because it's a lot easier to dogpile and say your piece instead of looking at your own self and go, yeah, that's something I need to fix. And I found myself in this rut many times earlier on, and maybe that's one of the reasons why I made so many like crazy little posts on Facebook for a long time.
Just your way of coping.
Yeah, it's because it was the way to deal because it wasn't that like everyone has their insecurities, but it's more of I think it was a way that for me to run away from my own responsibilities. Like I should be fixing my life. I should be getting ahead. I should be doing something. But instead, I'm going to put it on the back burner and focus. It's my what do you call it? It's my procrastination method. You know. So and I think that's one of the things with connection. It's like people might go, "Oh, Rob's really friendly. He's really he's really trying hard to connect with people." But sometimes it's really about just running away from my own problems, you know. And I think maybe that's something that a lot of other people aren't willing to admit yet.
I mean, we all cope in our own ways. I think on the same lines of you, instead of words and talking, mine's more of like the connecting on a more like physical, huggy kind of. Mm-hmm. That's touch, like sensitivity to touch sensation is more my way of coping. And maybe it's because I was raised by a single mother who was always working and not as affectionate maybe as she possibly could have, being an Asian family. We're not typically not very outwardly affectionate. Mm-hmm. And so perhaps there is a lot of that longing and missing things in my life, and I try to replenish those by showing affection towards other via physical touch. And maybe that's why tango maybe is something that I cater towards because of that. And I think about that. Maybe that's one of the reasons I get away from dealing with the internal things myself, just like you do with words. I do the same thing, but with touch. Right?
You know, I read something recently, and they said that a person's love language is what they never got from their parents. You know, so.
It makes sense. I'm just not. I kind of agree, and then I kind of don't agree with those love language things because I feel like everyone likes those love language. Like, who doesn't like positive words of affirmation? Who doesn't like gift giving? Who doesn't like?
No, but what I mean is like what really resonates with them. Like let's say.
I mean, I would appreciate all of those things.
Okay, but
wouldn't anybody though?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you like a gift from somebody?
But it's more what it's.
Or spending time, quality time.
Yeah, but it's more what wins you over. You know.
All of those things could possibly win someone over, right?
Yeah, that's true. But
given the right context, given the right person.
No, that's true. But I think for me, it's just because my parent, I wasn't very if someone was willing to, let's say, listen to me like babble on. I mean, yeah, that's. They got my heart right here. Just let me talk. I can talk your ear off, and let's just say yeah, like watch TV, just say nod your head. They don't even have to listen, man. That's how sad it is. But going back to connection, I think that it's really hard, both in just connecting with people because I don't really connect with. I do connect with people on the floor for dancing, but I really don't connect with them really until like we're having lunch after like a marathon or like the in between.
That's
things.
true.
And
Well, that's the beauty of tango. That's why people like it, because in that moment, that little short momentary thing, there is like almost a sense of what if, right? That happens between two people in the sensuality of the dance. Like almost you entertain that for 10 minutes or 12 minutes, however long a time that is. And so people like that what if magical moment. And then it kind of just is there, and then it's just there and stays there and dissipates.
Yeah, and it's I guess that's a bit hard for me because like it's I kind of view it like you know those the Tibetan monks where they drop sand and make this giant mural, and you're like, oh, it's so beautiful, and then they just blow it away. You know, it's hard because sometimes it's like are all of our connections that we make is it just like is it just frivolous like it's just there momentary and like it doesn't have any meaning. It just has momentary meaning. It doesn't have any meaning beyond that. And I understand you're trying to say, okay, it creates those opportunities for us to connect further. But I feel like sometimes people are just rushing up to the next dance. So it's almost like, we connected so well, but then like they're running off to the next thing. It's almost like, are we just drug addicts? And we're not really like, we're not really.
But life is fleeting. Everything is a fleeting moment. Life is so short, as a very common cliche, and everything in life has its little moments and memories. And so, how is that any different?
I guess you're right there. I admit that I'm a terrible Buddhist. So, because the real Buddhists would love this. They're like, oh yeah, like just enjoy the moment and be there, and you can't hold on to anything because
you can't take it with you.
Yeah, no, like your possessions are what, or because they say like your possessions are what holds you down. Like that's why, the question is like, do you own your car? Does the car own you? Kind of a thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Same thing with house or all these other things that we hold dearly to in terms of possessions.
Yeah. So it's difficult because, yeah, it's beautiful, but sometimes it's just hard to let go because then it's like, wow, I want to go further. I want to have lunch with this person. I want to hang out with these people. I want to, build upon that. And it's sometimes like it's hard to reconcile that there's nothing beyond it. Like this is where the buck stops.
Well, to be fair, there are many more people out there that doesn't have a hobby like tango, for example, to have even that outlet of connection.
No, I agree.
There's people that are just, they go to work, they come home, they go to their place of residence, they sit on the couch, play video games or watch TV, and that's their day.
Yeah.
With any form of that connection, maybe online, maybe via friends or these kind of things, but at least we have in-person physical connection.
No, we do. But I guess what I'm getting at is that it's hard for me to especially in the beginning, it's hard for me to reconcile all this stuff because I feel this amazing connection with people, and then the next day sometimes I'm invisible to these people, and I'm like, wait, was I the only one feeling this? Or
that's a valid one.
Or it's like, maybe I just got washed out, like there's something better came along the way. And this is something that I had a hard time dealing with post-COVID. After COVID, it's like I had to restart it. We all restarted again.
Yes.
And the whole idea of relevancy kind of went out the window. And in a sense, because I wasn't running on Malonga anymore, it was almost like, okay, did everyone forget me? And in a sense, sometimes I feel like I do
feel forgotten.
I do feel forgotten sometimes. I mean, sometimes
look what I did. You don't remember.
No, it's not that they all remember, right? But the thing is, but still, it's
what have you done for me lately?
There's that, or sometimes it's like, wow, like they couldn't even bother to dance with me anymore. Like I've had people where I used to dance with them, and then it's like now like I'm invisible to them, and it's like, wow, what. Then it makes me wonder, were we really connected, or was it just a resource?
Yeah. That's interesting that you bring that up because I've really been on this quest of simply dancing with people who I know enjoy dancing with me, who look to dance with me. And that's really what I look for. I don't want to have to convince people to dance with me. I don't want to go out there and hope that this person wants to dance with me. I want to dance with people that want to dance with me. That's
Yeah.
really pretty much I've turned to that leaf. Within maybe this year or 2 years or so, I want to just dance with people that also want to dance with me.
Yeah. No, it's same. But the thing is, I don't know if they really want to dance with me because they want to dance with me. I don't know if they want to dance with me just because we have the same dance style. I don't know if they want to dance with me just because I did something like I was a Malanga organizer, and they only want to dance with me while I was a Malanga organizer and not anymore. You know, it's I don't know why they want to dance with me.
But do you get the impression after you dance with them that they enjoy dancing with you?
So, and
That's the thing.
Oh, that's the thing. Like, I would say yes, but sometimes that's just like I thought there was something there, and you know,
Yeah,
and that's
yeah,
what it comes back down to. It's like, to be honest, like these days, I never know. Like, it's based on assumption, and you know, because even if I ask someone point blank, hey, do you like dancing with me? They're like, yeah, I like dancing with you. But like, are they faking it? I don't know. You know, I think back before I was more sure of myself,
Yeah.
and I guess the more I do this dance, the more I'm unsure of myself.
But isn't it better to have the mentality to believe that yes, they do want to dance with you, rather than to believe that maybe not?
Well, no,
Isn't it better for your overall psyche and overall mental
No.
health to just chalk it up to that?
oh, definitely it is. It's
So why then even entertain the other plan B or option?
because of you know, just because of what happens more recently, you know.
What do you mean?
Well, what I mean is, okay, let's say 2 years ago, I used to get dances from person A, B, C, right?
Yeah.
And then now it's like, okay, it's hard to get dances with them, and you'll just go, oh, well, they're just more picky.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so did I get worse? Or did they never like dancing with me? Or did they just only like dancing with me because I was hanging around certain people? Or like, what is it, you know? So that's what I mean.
Well, styles change and preferences change. That's
yeah,
true.
Yeah. But the thing is, that's what I mean. It's
Maybe you evolve, maybe they evolve.
or maybe they just really didn't like dancing with me to begin with.
That is true.
Yeah,
But
so-
does that mentality serve you?
It doesn't serve me, but the thing is, like, what I'm saying is the reality of today makes me question yesterday. You know, it's easier to say, oh, hey, you know, oh, well, they're lost, you know? But if I keep on having that attitude of saying, oh, it's their loss,
Yeah.
what if it's something real, like, well, maybe I need to improve, or,
Well, that should be your mentality anyways.
oh, yeah, but
that's
No.
a whole different thing.
I hear you.
That should be already in you.
No, but there's a sense of urgency when things are different. Like, okay, like I always want to improve, right? But maybe I'm going at a snail's pace because I'm just happy with how I am, right? But let's say it takes something like a competition, which gives me a sense of urgency, where it's like, oh, here's a deadline. I need to get better by this date because I don't want to be last place.
Right.
You know, there's that sense of urgency. So in a sense, that sense of doubt gives me a sense of urgency. It's not that, you know, it's not that I don't want to improve. It's not like I'm just coasting or anything. It's just more of sometimes my interpretation of what's happening today shakes my confidence. And I think it happens from time to time. It's not, you know, I mean, I'm not a professional dancer. I'm not like getting hired to travel the world or anything like that. You know, Europe's not knocking on my door and saying, hey, we want you to teach classes or anything like that. So it's, and then some people have access to pros now, you know, and it's maybe like maybe it's not necessarily that I got worse or they don't like dancing with me anymore, but maybe their access has grown exponentially that now I'm on like their mid-tier or lower mid-tier,
Right.
you know? And of course I want to improve also, but sometimes it makes me question my connection with people, because it's one thing if it's like, oh, I don't get dances with this person. It's another thing. It's almost like, oh, like they don't even say hi to me anymore.
Yeah.
And that happens sometimes, like it
definitely
happens
does.
to everybody. It's not just like the scrubs that get like ignored. It's like, dude, even I get ignored, So and again, like I've mentioned a few things to you like about people who I felt like ignore me now, and you're like, oh, they're just picky. I'm like, well, and then sometimes it's a misinterpretation. Like there was that one person who thought that I didn't like dancing with them, and I'm like, no, you're never available. I can't like like I'm trying to like I'll conversate you, but like it's just that like you're never available when I'm looking. So like misconnection.
I think it's misconnection. One of those. I think it's hard because, we never really rave about someone's dancing to them. Usually, you rave about them behind their back, and sometimes, at least for me, there'll be people that I dance with many tandas, and there'll be some people that I dance with one magical tanda, and it was the best tanda of my whole festival or whatever.
Yeah.
But they will never know that.
Yeah.
Right? I don't tell them that. And at the end of the day, the sum of it is I only danced with you one tanda compared to this other person. I danced 7 tandas.
Yeah.
But for you, that one magical tanda was worth like the 7 tandas, but they will never know that.
Some of my friends will tell me things like, oh yeah, everyone's raving about like how well you're improving everything, and I'm just kind of like, oh, you're just trying to make me feel better sometimes. It's like sometimes like I don't know what's true and what's not anymore, and I think that's what makes connection
Of an illusion, this kind of really mystical thing.
It's like I guess it's the more like again, the more how they say like the smarter you get, the more you know what you don't know.
Right.
And in a sense, it's almost like this. It's like the better I get,
the more ambiguous it becomes.
Yeah, the more like of if am I really improving or where am I on the grand scheme of things, or does it really matter, or are these people really connected to me, or honestly, I just feel like I'm a jellyfish just floating about, and I have no idea what's going on. I'm trying to get better, but like the results the only results that I have confidence in are competitions. Other than that, it's just fugazi.
Well, I think there's a lot of people out there that feel the same way. That feel like in the milonga I feel connected, but then when I go home at night, I sit back and I'm like, am I like what did I produce? Like what am I doing with my life?
Yeah.
Right. Sometimes a lot of tango dancers go through that phase. It's like, all right, I went to the milonga again on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and I'm probably gonna do the same thing next week. Is this what life's about? Am I missing out on other things?
Yeah.
What else could I be doing?
Yeah.
And a lot of it is just to temper that loneliness, like we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Like, how do you temper that feeling of being alone on this planet Earth?
That's a tough one, and sometimes I think, like for me, I had to face one of my biggest fears, which is dying alone.
We're all gonna die at some point,
but
and you're gonna die alone, even with somebody.
I know, but that's something that I like. I guess it's because I had aspirations to being a family man and everything, and the older I get, the further that
dream goes away.
Yeah, and I'm not saying tango's my escape from that, but in a sense, it's almost like, sometimes I sit back at night and I'm like, is this the best this is? Like is this like the peak of my life? It is sad and morbid, but then it's like, oh man, like where am I going and what am I doing? Do I need to hit the eject button before it's too late?
True. Well, I mean, I guess that begs the question of what else would you be doing?
I have no idea, dude.
There are so many things out there to occupy some's time.
I hear you, but that's why I said like right now I just feel like I'm a jellyfish just floating in space, dude. I've been doing this. Right now this is all I know, to be honest with you. All I know is I'm gonna get good stage. I'm gonna compete in stage, and I want to produce something with stage, and then after that I have no idea. And it's just like all my efforts are into staging competition right now, and that's my goal. And it's like, have faith in the mission.
Just have faith in the mission. Oh man.
It's like go for glory. This is so bad. It's so bad.
Yes, but that's sometimes how it goes. But yeah, this was. I don't know if we really got a lot in this video, but let us know what you think about this whole idea of connection or the lack thereof, and this idea of loneliness that we really don't talk about, especially in the dance world, especially in Argentine Tango, because I feel like a lot of us face it and we really don't share the same sentiment that we all have, which is how do we deal with this idea of loneliness and connection with each other. But yeah, we would like to know what your thoughts are on the matter, and we will catch you on the next one. Thank y'all so much. All right, we are back, and we have another entry for Behind the Music, a viewer favorite. And we are going to be focusing on the very famous and very popular song called Paciencia. And there is a very good chance that if you dance tango, you have heard this song in many different versions. So yeah, we're gonna break this one down and see what you think. So this song was written in 1937, and the English translation of Paciencia is patience. And so it goes a little something like this. Last night, my eyes fell on you again. Last night, I had you at my side again. Why should I have seen you if, after everything, we were two strangers looking into the past? You're not the same, nor am I the same. Years, life, who knows what else? Once and for all, better to be frank, you and I cannot go back to yesterday. Patience. Life is like this, out of pure ego. We tried to get together, and now those same egos reveal how different we are. Why should we pretend otherwise? Patience. Life is like this. Neither of us is to blame. If there's any blame to go around, that's why the hand that you clasped in silence did not tremble when I left. Let's pretend that it was all a dream, that it was a lie, that we searched for each other, that way, happily, we still got that consolation of believing that we haven't changed. I have a picture of you at 20, when you were the center of my little world. I want to see you always as lovely as then. What happened last night was only a dream. And so that is patience, paciencia. It's interesting that the translation says this word is somewhat a false cognate. In modern English, patience most always means the capacity to accept or tolerate delay, trouble, or suffering without getting angry or upset. It does have this exact meaning in Spanish, but also has the connotation of resignation to or acceptance of an unpleasant situation. So that kind of definitely makes more sense. I always thought that it was the I'm gonna wait around and be patient kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's interesting, because I always thought this song was so very meaningful in a way that just be patient, things will unfold the way they are, and it's actually kind of the opposite.
I never knew what it really meant, like exactly, because, I know what patience means, but Ishagwe had such like a nasty delivery of it. It's like paciencia, it's like it's almost like it was mocking,
Yeah, well, it kind of is.
So that's why, like, I always when he said it, I was all like, huh, like it's almost like, is this satire,
And I think he did that intentionally, right?
Yeah. So it's great,
because it is like a lie. It is like this kind of thing is kind of.
Yeah. So like, it's nice that finally the voice matches the message, because I was like, oh, it's so romantic. It's like now it's like, hey, I finally hear the satire, or like I finally hear like the mocking, and it's finally right. So great job, Ishagwe.
Yeah, that's true. It's like you have all these things and all these dreams, but that's a bunch of BS. This is the way it is. Let's not pretend. That's interesting. Let's just resign to what it is and stop pretending like it's something else.
And here, maybe it's a guy's perspective, but to me, this. Okay, I'm gonna say something terrible, which I don't know. But you know what this reminds me of is like when a guy has a one-night stand and the girl doesn't know it's a one-night stand.
Oh my God.
No, this is not how it reminds me. It's
Let's
like,
just go our own ways. I'm gonna take
yeah,
my clothes off. I'll be off
you
this
know.
way.
That's what it sounds like. It's like, let's not pretend, girl. This is like,
You know, we had our fun.
Yeah, and like, that's how this remind like when I heard that, that's how it kind of how I interpreted it is it's like this, you know, like this guy comes in and he's like, you know, it's
Who
just
we
never,
kidding?
yeah, you know.
Oh my God.
That's not so. In a sense, like it's nice to have that interpretation now, you know, where like it's this. I mean, even when the way he talks about it, like because it's from his perspective,
Right.
It's like this guy is such a jerk. like this is the guy. Like this is the guy that I would probably want to beat up.
And this is probably that suave, smooth guy.
Yeah, it probably is. The one that left your like little sister heartbroken, and you're like, oh, if I see him, you know. And
The Chad.
yeah, the Chad. He's a kick of Chad.
Giga Chad.
Yeah. So yeah, in a sense, I mean, great that the voice matches the music, but like now that I'm hearing that
You're
lyrics,
gonna dance a little more angry.
no, it's just like well, because the thing is, you have to embody that Giga Chad. You see, it's not me reacting to the music, but it's me being embodied in that music.
Right.
So I think it's a little different, where it's just kind of like, hey, you knew it was a Netflix and chill, you know? Like
Who we kidding?
I know.
Oh man.
So this is like a total Patrice O'Neill kind of a song. Like I really see a little Patrice O'Neill in this.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
All right. So what do you think, people? Are we onto something?
Let us know. What do you think of our interpretation of Paciencia? And we appreciate all the gratitude that you have for the segments that we've come up with, especially this Behind the Music one. And we will continue doing it as long as you want that. So
Yeah.
let us know. And
also, like maybe, how about a suggestion from all of you on what song we should do next?
that could be interesting.
Yeah.
Yes, but we picked some classic ones, right? We've done Nada, we've done Uno, and we've done Paciencia, all one-word songs. Interesting.
You know, I heard that Verde Mar is a good one.
Verde Mar?
Yeah.
Well, maybe check that out. We'll see if that's a good one. We'll see.
All right.
But yeah, thank you all so much, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Thank you for watching this episode of Left Foot, Right Foot. And thank you for all of the subscribers who helped us reach 500. We're now YouTube partners, and our next goal will be 1,000.
Yeah, it means a lot to us because I know we're very fortunate to reach 500 so fast and to become YouTube partners so fast. We really have all of you to thank, and we're looking forward to making more content for you and to hitting that 1,000 subscriber mark as soon as possible. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.